Hello everybody, I'm Thomas, and welcome back to the third video of my solo Fallout 2d20 RPG playthrough series, where I will be continuing the adventures of Marbash, picking up where we left off last video. So last session, finished our journey to the museum, did a bit of scavenging, and still no sign of the Minutemen. So that's something that's on the list, pretty much the top of the list of things to do today. Our current threads are figure out where the Minutemen are. It's the minor quest right now. Help us reestablish the Minutemen is kind of a major quest. Still want to get all the workbenches for my shack figured out. And that's that. So a couple of things I'm hoping to get done today. I'm hoping to find the Minutemen. It'd be cool to find another to find a workbench, or at least, at the very least, visit my shed. Hopefully I'd maybe have another combat encounter, because I really want to get Marbash to a decent level. So I think I'll even possibly start going out of my way to find combat encounters, because I want to get a lot of cool perks. I want to level up, and to do that I need XP. So right now we're sitting at 25 XP. This is a thing. It doesn't explicitly say in the book that you're supposed to reset the XP, but I assume you have to, because it scales with the minor and major quests amount. They're different. You get different amount of XP for minor and major quests based on the level. So this is not important, but let me know if you think I should do it otherwise. But I think if you don't reset the XP, especially once you get past level 10, you only need one minor quest to level up multiple times, which seems not as intended. It seems like if you reset the XP, it's the same amount of major and minor quests pretty much for each level. So I reset the XP, so we need 275 more to get to level 3. And currently with level 2, which is what we are, a minor quest will get us 60 experience, and a major quest will get us 120. So hopefully I can complete, my goal is at least this session, hopefully future sessions, to at least complete a major or minor quest and hopefully do some encounter, some combat. Because I think if I do, a quest and a combat pretty much each session, then I'll start hopefully getting a decent amount of experience. So here's the thing. Minutemen aren't here. I already did a survival test to figure out where they were, and there's really no sign of them, no sign of conflict. The raiders aren't outside. There's no sign of a battle outside. So we need to find the Minutemen. I don't know where they are. The one thing is, I forget where I initially got this quest from. I believe it was Trudy that gave me this quest. Or maybe I just said this was a quest that something I had that I heard about. Regardless of how I initially said it, I'm just gonna retroactively say it was Trudy that gave me this quest, or at least maybe mentioned it. She didn't say go help them, but she just brought up that they're there and kind of need assistance. And then I was maybe I'll get around to it. She's but first, and then maybe that was a different time when she mentioned the Minutemen, and the most recent time is when she mentioned the whole thing with Lucy and the Abernathy farm and all that. So basically, that's my long-winded way of saying, I think to figure out maybe where the Minutemen went, I need to go back to Trudy, see what she knows, see if she has any idea where they're heading. If she thinks they're going to Sanctuary, maybe they are in Sanctuary, but I don't know that. So I think the goal first is we're going to travel to the Drumlin Diner, go pay Trudy a visit. It's still pretty early in the day. It's 3:40-ish, in the afternoon, so there's still a decent amount of daylight left. I also want to make sure I'm not too far from my shed once it starts getting late, because I want to get a good night's rest and make sure I reheal my HP, because right now my HP is not looking too good. I honestly maybe should try to rest before moving on, because my health ain't looking too good. Okay, well, I don't have much in the way of healing at the moment. It's not a super long trip to Trudy's. Should be okay, famous last words. But I do have this fancy lad's snack cake that I picked up. It will heal me 3 HP, but it also does have, it's irradiated, I believe. Maybe it wasn't the one I marked, but at least in the book it says it's irradiated. So I'm gonna go ahead and consume that, which means I'll regain back 3 HP, which is good, bumping me up to 6. But then I also need to roll one of these effect dice, and if I roll an effect, I take radiation damage. So nope, I'm good. The snack cake wasn't too bad, didn't give me any radiation, healed me up for 3 HP, feeling a bit better. I'm trying to figure out what my walking speed would be. I think it's pretty much normal. I would only consider, it is still probably raining. I rolled that earlier. So it's gonna make it kind of harder to see and navigate, but also there's just this road that I could probably walk along. So even if it's rainy, I don't think that's gonna make the road all too much more difficult to like traverse. So I think it's pretty straightforward. Once again, I'm kind of estimating that each of these squares is like a mile across. So just using some really quick math, I'm estimating it's gonna be about 2 miles, which my agility score is 4. So at a normal speed will get me there in about an hour. But first, let's go ahead and create a new scene for this Drumlin Diner visit. All right, so we got a new scene created, scene 7. Head to the Drumlin Diner to ask about the Minutemen. I got all the little details filled in there. And of course, since we're starting a new scene, we have to change the chaos factor. Were we in control of that last scene? And that's something I was kind of trying to think, because it was investigate the museum. I was trying to find the Minutemen, they weren't there. I was trying to find some cool loot, and I basically found toilet paper, as someone put it. So was I in control? I don't know. I don't think so, because I went there to find the Minutemen, they weren't there. I was trying to get some cool loot that wasn't there. I had to fight mole rats in the basement, which almost killed me. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I don't think I was in control. So we'll say the chaos factor goes up a little bit. We're back up to 5. Okay, so then let's roll to see if there is a scene alteration as we head to the Drumlin Diner. Is anything gonna stop us? Anything gonna change or alter? Oh God, I think every time I've rolled a scene, it feels like it's always been interrupted or something. So it's rolling an NPC negative event for failure and reality. I'm gonna roll in the character list. Okay, so yeah, we have an interruption event of an negative NPC thing that's happening, failure and reality. Let's real quick, I guess, roll in the characters list, which there's not too many currently. That was another thing I wanted to do this session, is hopefully add some more characters to the character list. But let's see who this involves. Oh God, the Rotten Raiders. Just as a reminder, these are the name of the group of raiders that has raided Abernathy's farm in the past, killing their previous daughter, and now this most recent time they struck again, injuring Lucy. So that's who they are. Okay, so I've been thinking here for like a solid couple minutes. I was also double checking Mythic rules just to make sure I'm doing this right. So the scene's interrupted. It's not happening like I intended. So somewhere along the way, we'll maybe say like, I don't know, oops, so the ruler out. Maybe a little bit outside of Concord, like over here-ish. The scene gets interrupted by the Rotten Raiders with an event of failure of reality. How I interpret that, let me know if you have great suggestions, because I was thinking on this for a good couple minutes. Would I interpret that to mean, I mean, it's a negative event towards them, failure of reality. So I think it just means, I think it means they got, like, some Rotten Raiders got caught by somebody, or maybe are dead. Like I find some like dead Rotten Raiders, because I think Abernathy said that they maybe has like certain markings or something on their armor, like a certain way to distinguish their clan, maybe like certain paint or certain types of armor. They're also like, I think kind of they smell, that's why they're called Rotten Raiders, maybe, who knows. So let me ask maybe Mythic, just because I don't know. Did I come across raiders that are like being arrested, or are they like dead? I'll leave it 50-50 because I don't know. So I guess my question is, do I come across some like Rotten Raiders who are being like detained or whatever? Maybe who are caught? No, okay. So yeah, maybe I'm just walking along and then I see just a couple of, along the road, a couple of just dead raiders. So maybe just roll like a d4 to see how many dead raiders. Maybe just 1? 4! Oh man. 4 dead raiders block my passage. And maybe not block it, maybe they're just like along the road or whatever. But I spot them and I'm like, those guys dead? Maybe it looks pretty recent. Maybe there's like still some blood on the ground. But Yeah, I would say that's a failure of their reality, is they're dead. That's one way to interpret it. So yeah, I guess I come across just 4 dead rotten raiders, which means loot. I don't even want to ask this question, but were they already looted? I'm gonna go with unlikely. I'm gonna go with very if someone killed them, we'll go with unlikely that they are looted. So are they looted already? So they've not been looted yet, right? Is that what I was? Yeah, that's what I was asking. Okay, so if they haven't been looted yet, I get some loot. Okay, sorry, I've been just trying to figure out, because I'm seeing what loot is on these raiders, and one of the things that's listed under there is wealth 1, which I kind of forget what that means, so I've been trying to just quickly figure that out, so give me a hot second. Okay, I found out what wealth does. So it's just basically that's how many d20s I roll, and that's how many caps they potentially have. So first let me go ahead and get all the other loot, and then we'll do kind of caps last. So there's 4 guys here. So that means pipe guns I get 4 of. So I'm up to what, 5 I guess now? That's pretty neat. And then what else do they have? They have 4 tire irons, so I'll get some of those. Okay, and then finally road leathers, which I think I already have 1 of. I pick up 4 more of, so I now have 5 of them, which is pretty nice. And then finally the caps. So I'll just roll 4d20 total, since there's 4 of them that each have a wealth level of 1. 4d20 is how many caps I get. Hopefully it's a good amount, because I need some caps. I mean, I got some items to sell. 45, that's like almost what I have now. I have like 50 something. I have 57, so 45, that's not bad. I was all worried when the scene got interrupted, but this turned out to be a pretty good scene. The Rotten Raiders have lost 4 members, I guess, which is pretty significant. Maybe, I mean, I don't know how many there are. And maybe I'll like try to take a personal note. I don't think I have any paper, but I'll just try to take like a mental image of the 4 raiders that are on the ground. So then maybe if I go back to Abernathy Farm later, I can figure out who these people are. Maybe like one of them's their leader, but they all seem kind of like base level raiders, not any like higher ups. So I don't think any of them are going to be like super important, but I'll just try to take like a mental note of who all these raiders are, even though like I personally don't right now have a description of them in my head, but if it comes up later, I'm just taking a mental image. So, okay, 4 dead rotten raiders, took all their loot, grabbed some caps. I'm gonna finish making my way to the Drumlin Diner. I arrived there a little before 5, so still pretty, not too late in the day yet, and I arrive at the Drumlin Diner. So I don't think this really needs a new scene, because I think the scene of me just walking here, I wrote that this is like me figuring out what's going on, kind of. I head to Drumlin Diner to ask about the Minutemen. I don't really think it constitutes a new scene to just, because all I'm gonna do here is shop, and then I'm gonna ask Trudy some questions. I'll probably ask her questions first and then shop. But yeah, so I get to the Drumlin Diner. Good old place. I assume it's still open. I'm not even gonna like ask, I'm just assuming it is. And I go up to Trudy and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, oh, you're back already, because I guess it's only been a day. I mean, I saw her at 8 o'clock this morning when I left. So this has all been just one day so far, this adventure. And so I talked to Trudy. I'm like, hey, she's probably asking about how Lucy is and Abernathy Farm went. And I was like, oh, Lucy's good. She's, I mean, not good, but like she's getting better and she'll make it and like all that stuff. So we're like, the Abernathys seem pretty all right spirits, all things considered. Okay, so maybe does Trudy know about who it was that attacked Abernathy Farm, like currently? Like, does she know that it was the Rotten Raiders? That's a good question for Mythic, because I don't know. I think it's maybe unlikely that she knows it was the Rotten Raiders that attacked Abernathy Farm. So does she know that it was the Raiders? Oh god, she does know it was the Raiders, and now we're gonna have an NPC event because I rolled doubles. Propose, someone's about to get married? No, just joking. Let me roll another character list. The Minutemen. Oh, this is interesting. So some random action is happening with the Minutemen and proposed tactics. That's really interesting. Because I think we can kind of interpret that event through Trudy. Like maybe Trudy heard something about them proposing new tactics on what they're doing. So when I ask her, she'll maybe have a better idea of actually knowing. Okay, that's really interesting that that came up now. Cool. And then what did I ask her? I asked her if she did know it was the Raiders that attacked. She said yes. So she knew it was these rotten Raiders. Is she familiar with them? I'm gonna go with likely. Like, does she know anything about them? Have she heard of them in the past? I mean, obviously she knows like they attacked the farm. Okay. She knows a little bit about the rotten Raiders. Okay. I imagine she doesn't like them. They're Raiders. They're attacking, the Abernathy farms, who I imagine Trudy's probably on pretty good terms with. So, okay. Maybe I'll tell her, I'm like, I found 4 of them dead on the way here, so their numbers are dwindling, possibly. I don't really. I was gonna ask more questions about Rotten Raiders. I don't really care. So Trudy, I'm like, okay, so you brought up a while back the Minutemen. Well, I decided to head to the Museum of Freedom to see what was going on, and they weren't there. I was like, do you have any idea of where they're going or where they went? And normally I would ask Mythic, yes or no question, if Trudy would know. But I think since I rolled that event earlier and it was proposed tactics, I think it just works too well that Trudy has maybe heard from somebody that was in earlier today that they spotted the Minutemen going somewhere. So here's the thing I don't know. So proposed tactics, so obviously the museum wasn't a good spot for them. I mean, it's pretty prime Raider territory from what I'm aware. That Concord's pretty dangerous all in all. So they probably were on the move somewhere. Was it to Sanctuary? That's my question. Were they on the move to Sanctuary? I'm gonna go with probably very likely. I'm not gonna say it's certain, but I think that makes the most sense that if they obviously weren't in the museum and maybe they talked to this traveler, so like they were proposing new tactics, and then that's what they're doing, and this like trader or whatever heard about it. So are they going to Sanctuary? That's my question to Mythic. Is that the stop? Yes. Okay. Cool. We figured that out. Awesome. And that must have been like literally earlier today, because Trudy didn't know this morning. So I imagine at some point through the day, somebody came in, was talking with Trudy and trading with Trudy, that mentioned they're like, maybe the Minutemen came up or something, and they're like, yeah, no, I saw them and talked to them. They're on their way up to Sanctuary. They left the museum, so I must have just missed them at some point when I was at the farm. Maybe they must have left, but okay, we have an idea of where the Minutemen are. That's exciting. Man, Mythic's been throwing some pretty interesting events at us today. I'm kind of curious what else it's gonna do. So now comes some trading. I'm gonna do some trading with Trudy. And one thing I've been kind of thinking about is the book offers a couple ways to do like vendors and trading and whatnot. And I've been kind of thinking about how I want to do it. I think what I like is that I'm pretty sure when I first established Trudy as a character, I'm going to kind of continue the way I'm doing it, where each NPC and vendor kind of has what's called a wealth level. And basically any items equal to or less than their wealth level, they'll just have, just for the sake of making it easy on myself. And I'm not going to try to buy like insane quantities. I mean, I don't have any like that many caps right now, but I think just for the sake of this playthrough, I might change it at some point. Each vendor has a wealth level of like 1 to or 0 to whatever, like 4 or 5, whatever rarities there are. And then yeah, if they have like, I think Trudy, I made her a wealth vendor. I think I maybe rolled for it. So she's a vendor of level 1. So that means she has all of the uncommon or all the common items, which are rarity 0, and then all the uncommon, which I think is rarity 1. I believe that's how it works. So that's how I'm going to handle doing this with buying stuff from Trudy and kind of just vendors in general in the future, just to make it a little bit easier. So I don't have to have like, the one other thing I was thinking, I was like, okay, I could do this wealth system, but then also like make a roll for everything. but that just seems like kind of would take too much time. And maybe I can make a roll for stuff like if I'm trying to buy a rarity 2 item from Trudy, maybe then I can make a roll to see if she even has it, because maybe there's like a chance they might have stuff in stock. But I'm just trying to make this the most easiest and kind of, I don't know, quickest to go through and just not spend too much time on shopping and selling stuff. Okay, and then I guess real quick, I'm gonna try to haggle with Trudy, because I want to get a bit of a cheaper price. So I'm gonna do a charisma plus barter check. Charisma's not the most high. I think I might buy an additional action or a d20, just cause. And I think this is gonna be an opposed roll. So I make a test, and then the trader makes a test. So, and we just compare number of successes, I guess. So let's see. I get, one success, okay. And let me see how Trudy rolls this up. Okay, so here's all the stuff I'm just assuming Trudy's like a trader / caravan stat, so she has like 9 charisma apparently. 4 barter, it is a tag skill. So let's hope she doesn't get more than 2, which it looks like she is going to be tied. So I don't know what that means. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing this contested roll right, because how it's supposed to work with like opposed tests is when another character opposes you in a test, their player rolls d20, and then that's the number of successes I have to beat. And then if I roll equal to or beat the number of successes, I win the opposed test. So I think I maybe did that a little bit out of order, but if I'm reading that right, I just had to equal or beat it. So I think I'm okay. And we'll say since, I'm on pretty good terms with Trudy, I think it's okay that I get a little bit of a discount / extra caps. So first I'm going to sell some stuff. So the discount is I get 10% more or less. So if I'm selling, I get 10% more. If I'm buying, costs 10% less. So let me sell all the stuff I have that I don't need and see how many caps I get out of that. Okay, so assuming my math is correct, which I was using a calculator, so hopefully I punched everything right. I'll be getting an extra 74 caps, which is pretty dang nice. I sold all the stuff I basically just picked up. I sold all the tire irons, most of the pipe guns. I kept one for myself. All the extra armor I had, and then I had some like pre-war money. So I got about 74 caps total, leaving me with a nice 176. And let's see what I want to buy real fast. Okay, I've been looking at the items here for a few minutes. So, because I want to find some items that heal me, stim packs are usually kind of the go-to. But the thing is, a stim pack, it heals 4 HP, costs 50 caps. That's kind of a lot. Remember that, 4 HP for 50 caps. Whereas I could get some purified water, that heals 3 HP for 20 caps. So like, I think that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna get some purified water. I'm gonna get 3 things of purified water. No, maybe 4, because I do have a 10% discount. Hold on. See, if they cost 20 caps each, if I get 4, but my discount's only, well, let's see. Yeah, okay, this is good. Yeah, I'll still get 4 because with a 10% discount, it'll only cost me 72 caps, which I wanted to kind of remain over 100, which that will do. So I will get 4 purified waters. Okay, I know I said I wanted to remain above 100 caps because I want to keep some on hand, but at the same time, I realized I am kind of low on ammo, and it probably wouldn't hurt to have a bit extra. So it looks like I need 38 and 38 rounds. They cost about looks like a cap a piece per bullet, I think is how it works. So I'll put myself down to 90 to get 14 bullets, putting me at a cool, what is that, 23, not 24, 23 bullets. That makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, even though I don't really use the pipe gun. I'll keep using the baseball bat, especially because I might modify it here soon once I head back to the shed. It'd be good to have some extra bullets on hand, just in case I come across something that's, more ranged. I want to have some extra bullets, especially because then I haven't done this much, but like, with the whole fire rate, you can spend extra bullets that way and whatnot. So let me double check there's nothing else I need from Trudy item-wise before I kick out of here. So here's the thing. I got the baseball bat. I think I got this from Trudy, or maybe I started with it. I kind of forget. I might have started with it, but I want to ask Trudy if she has an aluminum baseball bat, but here's the thing, that's a rarity 2 item. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. Because my question is, do you have an aluminum baseball bat? Normally she wouldn't. But I'm trying to figure out, what are the odds? Would it be 50-50? Would it be unlikely? Because I think what I'll do is then like keep work. I think it'll be unlikely for 1 above. If it's 2 above, and I'll just kind of keep working my way down the list. So does Trudy have any aluminum baseball bats for sale? Because I would love one, but I don't think it's gonna happen. No, unfortunately not. Okay, that's fine. Not too worried about it. I feel all right with my baseball bat, especially like I said, I have a weapons workshop. I now have some items. I can start modifying it, which is pretty cool. Okay, Trudy, you've been a tremendous help figuring out the Minutemen situation. So I do have 2 more questions for you, Trudy. 2 more questions, because I need some more info. I want to figure out some more stuff. You know, at first, I'm not going to ask Trudy this question. I have a question for Mythic. I know Trudy has a son that, from what I've read, doesn't, he seems like he gets into some trouble. He's like been addicted to like jet from some like local, I don't know if it's a gang, but some guys have gotten this, Trudy's son, who I think is like a teenager maybe, like addicted to some drugs. I think it's Jet. So I'm curious if he's around. Is he working the shop? Is he around? I'm just curious. I want to add more characters to my character list. I'm just curious. Let me find his name real fast. Okay, her son is named Patrick. Is Patrick around? I don't know. 50-50. Is he around? Is he not? I don't know. So let's see. Mythic says yes, he is around. Have I met Patrick before? I'm gonna probably go with maybe not. Maybe I haven't met Patrick before, so maybe I'll go over and introduce myself. And just say hi, just to try to meet people and just be like, hey, I'm just trying to add you to my character list. And he's probably like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, don't worry about it. You wouldn't get what it means, but okay. So that means I can add Patrick to my character list. So he's just chilling, probably helping Trudy in the diner, in the shop. I mean, it's the Drumwood Diner, but it's a store. Okay, Trudy. Do I have 1 more question? 2 more questions? I have a lot of questions. At some point, I want to acquire a Brahmin, a pack Brahmin. That's something you can buy in this game. You can acquire Brahmin for not a terrible price. Hold on. So you can get a pack Brahmin. The cost is listed at 200 caps, which that's not terrible. It is a rarity 2 thing. It's just something rarity 3. It's something I assume Trudy doesn't have, but it's not common, but I don't think they're uncommon enough. So my question to Trudy is, hey, I'm trying to buy a pack Brahmin. Do you know where I could acquire one? Does Abernathy Farm possibly sell one? That would be pretty cool. So let me ask, does she know where to acquire someone that's maybe selling a pack Brahmin? I'm gonna go with likely. She probably knows somebody. She's a trader. She's pretty well connected, I think. Does she know somebody that would sell me a pack Brahmin? Exceptional no. Okay, so maybe like she get like offended by the question. Exceptional no. Yikes. Okay. So maybe exceptional no is that not only does she not know where to get one from, maybe she's been trying to get one herself, or maybe like she's been asked this question a lot. She's like, no, I don't know. I don't have one. I don't know where to find one. They're hard to come by, I guess, maybe in this area, or maybe in general. Who knows? But no, she doesn't know that. Okay. Good to know. Okay. Oh, no, I remember my last question. So I mentioned I wanted to start getting into some fights. So I guess the Minutemen need help. But I guess while I'm here, I'll ask Trudy, like, do you know of anywhere in the area that needs like creatures cleared away, I guess? Like, is there like any overrun buildings or properties or anything that I could go and just get some... I'll tell her I'm like trying to get some combat experience, but in reality, I'm just trying to get... I mean, I guess I'm trying to get some combat experience, some XP. So yeah, I'll be like, Trudy, do you know of anywhere around that's just like needs some stuff cleared away, some like creatures or whatever that I could just work on my combat? I think it's likely that she probably knows at least something. Cool, she does. I know the Starlight Drive-In here is pretty overrun. So is that what she's talking about? The drive-in? I'm gonna ask Mythic. I'm gonna say it's very likely since it's right next door. It's pretty overrun. And from what I read in the book about the lore, it's some place that like people used to live at and then no longer do because it just kind of got run down. So is that where she's talking about the drive-in that needs like cleared? Yes, exceptional, yes. Okay. So yeah, she brings up, and maybe she like knew people, or maybe that's even where she like used to live. I don't know. But she has a strong connection to the drive-in and wanting to get it cleared, maybe just to have the movies run again to try to lift people's spirits. Who knows? But we'll say that, yeah, she's very adamant about trying to clear the Starlight drive-in. So maybe I will add that to my threads list to clear that out. I would say it's probably a minor quest. Maybe like I can make another quest. And maybe I could do 2 different quests. Maybe I could do a major quest to like fix up the drive-in, and then that's going to be a multi-stage quest where I have to like first clear it out, and then maybe like clear out the creatures, and then maybe like fortify it and do a couple other things like move, because I think one of the things about it, there's like radiation in it, so figure out what that. So maybe I'll make this clear out creatures at the drive-in, and then maybe I'll make it fix, or how about just make drive-in livable again, with that being a major quest, because I want to get some more quests, more threads going. I want to be up to some more stuff, and that seems like a pretty good task to do, something I think I can maybe handle depending on what's there. Maybe Trudy doesn't exactly know what's there. Maybe it's different kind of stuff. I imagine nothing too crazy. Probably just like mole rats and ghouls, you know, the typical stuff. Maybe some other insects or creatures, but I don't think it's like, it's not overrun by like death claws or super mutants or synths or anything. So it's gonna be probably pretty standard stuff, but it's probably just enough of a nuisance with the creatures and the radiation and anything else that's just made it not super livable. So I think that seems like a pretty good thing to work towards at some point. So it's not super late in the day at the moment. I'm gonna say, you know, probably a bit of time has passed since I've been at the diner, so maybe it's a little around 5 or so. I could head to Sanctuary. I don't really want to head to the drive-in. And the thing is, I do want to upgrade my baseball bat, and I also have a lot of junk that you can scavenge, I believe, for stuff, but it takes a while to do that. I think it takes like 10 minutes per piece of scrap I have. I have like 30, so it would take me a good couple of hours to get through all of it. So maybe I'll kind of work through a good chunk of that. Maybe try to get to bed early to just, you know, get a good start on the next day. So I think, yeah, my next thing will just be, I may probably make a new scene to just head back to my shed and do whatever there. Just kind of take it easy for the rest of the day. Because, I mean, this has all been just one day so far. So it's already been quite an adventurous day of the farm, and then there was like the raider conflict, the mole rats in the basement, the whole museum thing, the dead raiders over here. I guess it's all been one day. So it's been a bit of a long day for Marbash, maybe a little bit more activity and whatnot than he's used to. So he's maybe a bit more tired. Understandably, he's gotten stronger. He's got that XP in him. So let's head back to my shed, which I said is kind of just over here in this area, which I think still, as a rough estimate, I'm not, as long as I just have a general area of like where I think my little shed is. So yeah, maybe I'll make a new scene for heading back, traveling to my shed, and just hanging out there for the night, just doing some stuff around there. So let me make a new scene. Okay, so I created a new scene for just heading back to the shed to work on my workbench. Like I said, I'm gonna just do some salvaging, or salvaging. I don't know why I keep saying salvaging of like this junk to get some scrap and common materials, so I could do some crafting, add some mods to my baseball bat, which should be pretty cool, and just get a good night's rest. So let's, I created a new scene. Chaos factor. I think we were in control of that last scene. I mean, I found some dead raiders. Pretty nice. Got some free loot, which is very helpful. And yeah, Trudy was more or less very helpful. She didn't know about the Brahmin, but I'm not going to hold that against her. So I will say, yeah, Marbash was pretty in control. Is there a scene alteration? There probably will be, because I feel like there's been every single time. I can't do anything in this world without getting interrupted by an... Okay, so I'm getting interrupted by an ambiguous event of communicate balance. So communicate balance, that's it's ambiguous, all right. What could that even mean? Okay, so I think I have a pretty good idea. So maybe as I'm walking along, kind of, maybe like kind of a little bit like around this area or so, not on a road, so I'm kind of just out in the middle of nowhere, and I hear like a rustling in some of the trees nearby, and I look over, and I see someone kind of like mumbling to themselves, and they notice me, and I notice them. They don't seem like hostile. They don't like reach for their weapon or anything. I mean, I'm probably carrying around my baseball bat, but it turns out to be one of the children of Adam people, like one of the I don't know what to call them exactly, but one of the people that worship what is it? And I think pretty much they're just trying to spread the word of Adam, I guess. So they're like worshiping the bomb that fell, and yeah, they come up to me and they're like, "Do you know the good word of Adam?" And they just start going on a spiel about Adam has brought us together, and it's trying to bring balance to everybody by wiping out what was, and goes on this whole spiel about how like Adam and what they worship has brought balance to the world. So at least that's what they view, and that's what they're trying to get me to view. So I think that's what communicate balance is that maybe I ran into this child of Adam worshiper person that's trying to like tell me they're like how great the bombs are and how good like the radiation is. They're like, oh, it's helped bring balance to the world. I mean, maybe not in the most obvious way, but they talk about all these like ways that life is maybe more better and balanced, I guess. And I'm just like, maybe I'm just like politely like nodding. I'm like, okay, yeah. But I'm just telling them like, oh, I gotta run, I have stuff to do, but I'll consider it. I'll definitely consider it. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go, and I just kind of dip. Okay, so that was the event, I guess. Maybe I'll ask them. You know what? I'll ask them their name and add their name to my characters list. So maybe they appear again. I don't know. That sounds kind of fun. Just using old table fables real quick for a name. 24. I will say, is it just some guy? Elias is their name. So Elias is this wandering child of Adam worshiper that has been trying to spread their word. So Elias, and I bid them adieu, and I'm like, listen, I hear what you're saying, I gotta go. It's probably still like raining at this point. Maybe it's done, but it's still like muddy and kind of just like humid out, and I'm like tired. I'm like don't have a lot of HP, so I'm like really probably dragging at this point. Kind of a long day, so I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. And I probably start walking away, and then after a bit of walking, I kind of make sure, like, keep checking over my shoulder to make sure like I'm not being followed by this guy, so they're not gonna just like show up in my shed at the middle of the night and like knocking with their pamphlets. They're like, would you like to hear about Adam? I'm like, no, I wouldn't. But yeah, it seems like they're not following me, so I'm probably fine. Okay. And then I continue back to the shed. We'll say, so I left the Drumwood Diner at 5. It was like about 2 miles, but I was going over some rough terrain, I would say for sure. There's probably hills and, it's not road there. So it probably took me about an hour and a half, we'll say, for me to roll up at my shed. And hey, it's the first time I've been here, at least in this series. So cool. Finally in my little homestead. Could just kind of stretch, take a breath. Maybe as I'm like opening the door before I close it, I just take one more peek outside and make sure I don't see Elias trying to follow me and tell me more about Children of Adam, which, I mean, I guess I kind of want to ask Mythic, like, so I didn't see him following me initially. Do I see him as I'm looking out the door? I'm going to go with, it's probably nearly impossible that if I didn't see him before, that I followed me and then pretty much all the way back to my shed. Do I see him outside my door? That'd be pretty crazy. No. Okay, thank you, Mythic, for going along for once. Okay. So I don't see him, close my door, and feel a little at peace, knowing sun's probably gonna start setting soon, and yeah, I'm kind of back in my little shed with my, what do I have in here? I have the weapons workbench and cooking station, little fire, and I guess a chemistry workbench that someone, chemistry like station that someone must have left behind. I mean, the weapons one, I assume they left behind, but weapons one, I kind of, in my head, I'm thinking more that someone put that there while the chemistry one was there for like whatever this purpose was of the shed. And I got my mattress, so that's all good. I don't know if there's anything in my inventory I want to leave here. I guess the mole rat meat I do want to cook. Let's cook up some mole rat meat. Okay, so I'm gonna start up my little stove. I imagine I probably don't have just like an open fire. Like I have some sort of maybe stove or pot or something. But it costs one of my common material to get the fire started. And then to cook some mole rat chunks, it requires 2 mole rat meat and 2 common material, which I do have both. So I can be down to 1 mole rat meat and currently 0 common material. And with that, I will cook up some mole rat chunks. There's no, I don't think, at least that I can see, there's no specified time for how long this stuff takes. So I'm just gonna say for cooking stuff like that, maybe a half hour. That seems like a good time. Okay, so now I got some mole rat chunks, which I could eat and gain back 7 HP. That's not bad. Maybe I'll keep that as like a case of emergency type situation, but we did that. So let's fast forward time a little bit as I've been just kind of chilling by the stove, fire, whatever, cooking up some mole rat meat. So got that all cooked up. Now I want to try to convert some of my junk into some common material and stuff for me to use. Okay, so I do apologize. I shouldn't have been able to cook that quite yet. I basically have to do a test to see if I successfully craft an item that includes cooking that mole rat meat. So let me do a test real fast to see if I actually did do it. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to spend any D20. I need to just get 1 success to make this because it is a 1 difficulty or 1 complexity recipe. So I need to get 1 success to successfully make it. I'm using survival as my skill, so let's see, do I actually make this mole rat meat? Oh, barely. Okay. I barely make this mole rat meat. I almost like maybe burnt the edges, but it's just like just good enough to eat. I'm like, you know what? Good enough. Cool. So now I actually did the test to do that, so good there. Okay, well now that that's done, I want to do some salvaging of materials from my junk items. So it takes 10 minutes to do that. I have to do a intellect plus repair test with a difficulty of 0, and then I will roll a effect dice for each junk item salvaged, and I will receive common material equal to the total rolled. So just for now, let's say I spend an hour. So I'm gonna try to salvage 6 pieces of junk to make some usable crafting material. So that means I need to do 6 separate repair and intelligence tests, which I should do pretty all right. I'm not gonna take any extra dice because hopefully I should generate some action points from this, but we'll see. Maybe I do terribly. Okay, so it's a difficulty 0, and I'm just gonna roll, I'm gonna do 6, and then I'll roll how much I get afterwards. So I'm gonna do the test first, and then I'll roll to see how much junk I get. So that is an action point I get, so that's 1. Next one, let's see how I do. Oh, that's looking real good. That's 3 extra action points. I'll at least spend 1 of those, but I still need to roll to get extra stuff. So I need to remember I spent 1, but I'm gonna keep rolling the other 4 rolls real fast. So next one, looking not great. I got a success, but a complication. What does that mean for salvaging? We'll just say I lose that piece of junk. Maybe I wasn't able to salvage it, so maybe I also won't get the action point. Maybe I'll just do that for the complication. So that was what, my 3rd, so halfway there. So far I spent 1 extra action point. I need to try to keep track of that. That's 2 extra action points. So I'll gain 1, I'll spend another. So that's my second one I've spent. That's another one. So I'll spend a 3rd action point, and I think I need 1 more test, right? Yep, last test, I've spent 3 action points so far. I'm gonna keep that extra 1. And yeah, so I spent 3 action points. I did 6 tests total. So I only succeed at 5 of them. So I'll basically be rolling 8 dice, right? Because the 5 I succeeded at, 3 extra because of my action points. So 8 dice is what I get to roll the these little damage dice. And let's just see how much common material I get. Hopefully a decent amount. It's not great for an hour of time. I think I roll I take the damage amount. So I get 5 common material, and I fast forward an hour. Okay, so I could do more salvaging of scrap. The thing is, I kind of want to wait because the very next perk I plan to grab is Scrapper, which gives me a chance of getting uncommon material from my junk. So I'm trying to save as much of my junk as I can. I know I sound like a hoarder, but I know I really need it. I mean it. So I'm fine with my 5 common material, especially because the one mod I wanted to do my baseball bat, which I wanted to make it sharp, is it's a 2 complexity thing, which only costs me, double check, the 2 complexity is 3 common material. So I should be able to do that. I should be able to do that pretty easily, I think, but I have to do the test first. So for the sharp, that's going to be a repair test, which I'm pretty good at. I definitely will roll an extra dice just to make sure I don't waste my materials and such, but it's going to be a 2 difficulty test. So do I go for another one? Maybe, you know what, I'll just roll the 1 and hope for the best. I mean, I have a score of, what is that, like 11? So I should be pretty okay here. But let's see, maybe that was a horrible mistake and I'm gonna mess up badly. Thank goodness it all worked out. Yeah, I already did -1 action points, but I was successfully able to modify my baseball bat. So we'll say another half hour passed as I'm tinkering around with my baseball bat and making it a bit sharp. So what's pretty cool is in Foundry here, you go to here to edit and mods. Click, it does have 1 out of 1 mods, and it has the I guess I can't add it here, but I can add it over here, at least the attributes. So it gains the prefix sharp because it's now a sharp baseball bat, and it does 1 additional damage, and it gets persistent 1, which is pretty nice. So let me go back to damage. It's bumped up to 5, and that's before my melee bonus dice, which is pretty nice. So I think, yeah. And as a quick reminder of what persist does, now that I got this sharp baseball bat that does persistent damage, I'll really quickly read. It says, if 1 or more effects are rolled, the target suffers the weapon's damage again at the end of their next and subsequent turns for a number of rounds equal to the number of effects rolled. Character may spend a major action to make a test to stop persistent damage, yada, 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 yada. So pretty nice. It does just extra damage over time. So that's my newly upgraded baseball bat. Pretty excited to have, as that's like kind of my main weapon, and now I've added some sharpness to it. It's not a blade. I guess I've just made it more sharp. However the heck you do that to a baseball bat, but does more damage now. Does persistent damage effect, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, I think now that I got my new baseball bat made, I'm pretty happy. I think at this point I'm probably pretty tired and ready to just call it a night, maybe even a little bit early. So I probably kind of get ready for bed, 9 o'clock, fall asleep, and we'll say I sleep for a solid, like 6 hours. That would put me at 3, 4, 5, 6, or 9 hours, I mean. Would put me around like 6 o'clock to wake up. That's pretty early to get the day started tomorrow. And a couple of things. Well, first off, I get to regain all of my HP for resting longer than 6 hours, which is extremely nice. And then since I slept longer than 8 hours somewhere safe and comfortable, I become well rested, which basically means my HP maximum increases by 2. So I get a cool 15 out of 15 health, and I am fully rested. Okay, so it's a brand new day. What is it? I guess spring 4 is the day, because I think I said yesterday was spring 3. So it's spring 4, new day. And I mean, there's lots of stuff on my threads list now, which I'm super happy about. Getting more and more stuff added, more, especially more XP that I can get once I start completing more stuff. But I think top of the list, which I think is most pressing, is figuring out this Minutemen situation. So I think I'm just going to travel to Sanctuary and see what's going on there. Maybe I'll maybe actually, because I imagine, yeah, I'm going to go to Sanctuary, but I might make a stop at that Red Rocket truck stop along the way and see what's going on there, see if it's been looted, see if there's any workbenches. There probably is at least one workbench. Maybe the power armor one or the armor one, at the very least, that'd be pretty cool. But I don't want to dilly-dally there too long because I do want to get to Sanctuary. That's pretty important. So let's make a new scene. Maybe I'll hit that on the way back. You know what? I do want to go to the Red Rocket Station, but maybe this Minutemen stuff might be pretty important, especially because they're already on the move to Sanctuary doing whatever. So maybe I'll wait on the Red Rocket, even though I do want to go there, but who knows? Maybe someone's going to loot it before I can, but I'm going to head to Sanctuary. So we get an idea of how far that is and roughly how long that would take me. Also, real quick, since it is a new day, I'm going to be using the Iron Valley Weather Oracle here just to roll up a D100 to see what the weather looks like today. And obviously, it's not maybe going to be like that the whole day, but just give me an idea of generally what today's weather will look like. So hopefully not more rain, but that's looking good. 10 for spring weather. It's a nice and sunny day. Sweet. So as we head to Sanctuary, which for my estimate is about 5-ish miles away, I could take roads most of the way there, so we'll say as a good estimate, it'll probably take me about 2.5 hours to walk there. Because it's not super close, I'm estimating it's about 5 miles, and normal terrain, I walk about 2 miles an hour. So about what did I say, 2.5 hours for 5 miles? But first, let's create a new scene and get that going. All right, new journal entry has been created. Head to Sanctuary to find the Minutemen. The day is spring 4, it's sunny out, 6 o'clock in the morning, super early. I am feeling incredibly well rested. Got a bit of extra HP, got my new fancy baseball bat, cooked up some mole rat meat yesterday, so I'm feeling good. Got some of that free loot from the raiders. I'm feeling pretty great. So then, final thing, since it's a new scene, well, first off, was I in control of last scene? So I was heading to the shed to work on stuff. I did encounter that Children of Adam person, but they were pretty chill. It was Elias. And then I was able to craft stuff without fail pretty easily and got a lot of action points from it. So yeah, I would say overall, I was in control. So the chaos factor would go down. So then let's roll to see if there's a scene alteration as I head to Sanctuary. There probably will be, because there always is. There's not. The scene proceeds normally. Mythic lets me go with a nice and easy scene. This fine spring 4 morning. This nice sunny morning. The sun's probably not even up yet. It's still probably coming up. Maybe at 6 o'clock it might be kind of up in the sky at this point. But all right. We're going to Sanctuary with not getting interrupted by any dead raiders or Children of Adam people trying to get me to sign their petition or whatever the heck they were doing. And yeah, I venture my way to Sanctuary. And I think with me arriving at Sanctuary, that's where we're going to wrap it up here today. And we'll see next time what happens in Sanctuary. Are the Minutemen still there? I really hope they are. Do they need help? Are they, maybe still on the outskirts of Sanctuary? They're not even inside yet, because from my reading of the book and kind of how Sanctuary works, it's just a lot of ghouls there. It's kind of overrun right now. So maybe they're still trying to figure out a plan to overcome Sanctuary. Maybe they've already done it. Who knows? But we'll figure that out next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. I'll be continuing this adventure next week, so subscribe if you want to catch that. And if you want to see one of my recent videos, click in the top right corner of the screen.